James here with the Oracle Outlook for the week starting December the 9th, 2019. Thanks so much for tuning in and joining me for this week's video reading. If this is your first time here, I'd like to say welcome, and if you're returning, I'd like to say welcome back. Well, I am really cutting this down to the wire. It is Sunday afternoon, December the 8th, as I'm filming this. And I almost didn't get to an Oracle Outlook video reading this week, and this is why. On the days that I usually allot for shooting videos, I had a 2-day migraine episode. I don't have them often, but when I have them, they can sometimes be a doozy, and this was the case. So I wasn't sure if I was going to get to it, but today I'm up, my head is pain-free, I'm functioning, and I thought, okay, if I'm going to get it done, I got to get it done today. So thank you for tuning in as I get this really down to the wire. With that in mind, I thought, what deck system would be probably the most easy to work with this week? And I had this thought. I hadn't worked with this particular deck in this space for some time, so the deck that's going to be assisting me for this video reading is the Arcana Tarot Playing Cards. They are by Chris of Dianco of Dead on Paper, and I will be leaving a link to information about the deck in the description box below. But once again, we are working with the Arcana Tarot Playing Cards, and now that I've set things up, let's get to the table really quickly and seeing what's in the cards possibly for the week ahead. And here we are with the cards on the table, and I'm going to take a few moments to shuffle the deck. And as I shuffle the cards, I'm focusing on my usual intention for these weekly general readings, and that is for the information, for the guidance, for the advice, for the insight. It's going to be most helpful and beneficial as we move through the experiences of the upcoming week. Feeling one more time will be good. All right. And now I'm going to take a moment to cut the deck. Fan the cards out. And because I'm getting down to the wire here in terms of getting this video ready for the upcoming week, I'm going to simply do a line of 5 cards this week. So I'm looking for 5 cards in the fan that are getting my attention. And I immediately see 3. Third one was a little tricky there. So now I'm looking for 2 more. Okay, so those are the 5 cards I've selected. Now I'm going to take the remainder of the deck up and move that to one side. I'm going to count back. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now I'm going to lay the cards out in a simple line. When I work with a line of 5, I just simply lay the cards from left to right. So let's take a look. All right. And so if you're no stranger to seeing me work with a line of 5, then you know that I always like to work with the middle card. For me, the middle card is the central issue of focus, so we're going to take a look at that card now. And here we have the 2 of Hearts. So the suit of Hearts for me can represent things like love and romance, can represent healing. It could represent our feelings and emotions. So those are all things that could be aspects of our lives that we're going to focus on this week. For some people, it may be centering on a romantic relationship. The number 2 for me can represent partnerships. So here we have the possibility of a romantic partnership, an emotional bond, an emotional connection, right? It may be a situation where we're going to be sharing The 2 is a number of sharing. Sharing our feelings with another person this week, or that may be at the heart of the matter, right? If we go with the idea of healing, then this could be, some type of reconciliation, going again with the number 2 representing partnerships or connections or bonds or relationships. There may be some healing that's taking place in a particular relationship. One of those relationships, aside from something being maybe of a romantic nature, that the 2 of Hearts for me can represent children. So there may be for some people a focus on a child this week and your relationship to that child. And again, healing may need to take place in that particular relationship, right? Another thing that we are being maybe asked to consider this week going forward is our expectations on relationships with other people this week. And the reason why I say that is because for me, the 2 of Hearts going along with the idea of children, this is a card that can represent pregnancy. So if it's not pregnancy in the literal sense, then I go with the maybe more metaphorical aspect of that, and the idea of expecting. And the idea of expecting plays into my meaning of expectations, right? So that's a kind of a long-winded way to come to the idea of maybe just taking a look at what our expectations are regarding our relationships with other people this week. So again, the 2 of Hearts can represent something having to do with a love relationship, a romantic relationship or partnership, a relationship in which there is a great deal of emotional energy. This card again represents an emotional connection or bond. And so that could be in the positive sense, like we're taking time to get to know another person better, or that we are in a place where we are trying to maybe reconcile and heal a relationship of an emotional nature with another person, right? Could also be centering on a relationship with a child, or that we are taking a look at our expectations, generally speaking, regarding our relationships with other people this week. So the other cards may give us more information about that. So let's take a look, starting at the card on the far left, opening the line up. We have the Sun. So the first thing that I want to say about the Sun is, and I'll hold it closer because here we have an image of a child on a horse, right? So with that repeated visual imagery, we have another connection to something having to do with children, right? So this could be a child, or something having to do with a childhood issue pertaining to somebody, if we go with the idea that this is about healing. This could also be, with the Sun card, I talked about a parent-child relationship. This could be a relationship with siblings, because for me the Sun can represent not only children but siblings in particular. I tend to think of my brother when I draw the Sun card, and more so when I'm working with Tarot de Marseille, but I'm seeing that in this moment right now. If we're talking about our expectations this week, or maybe wanting to heal something, the Sun would suggest a couple of things. First, I'm seeing the idea of here of clarity and illumination, because the Sun comes out, and when the Sun is up, it usually represents things being able to be seen clearly. And I'm hearing the song in my head, I can see clearly now, the rain has gone, right? So again, that would bring the idea of maybe about healing and reconciliation, talking about the rain being gone, right? So there may be something about that. But the only way we can actually take the time to either heal something or reconcile something is if we're first clear about it. So this could represent illumination, clarity, enlightenment, things like that, right? And then, as a result of that, this Sun card is also about happiness. It's about happiness and personal freedom. It's also about removing personal blocks. And I'm seeing a different image in my head to get me to say that. The image that I'm seeing is, I have an angel deck, and the Sun card in that deck is Archangel Uriel. And Archangel Uriel's name means fire or light of God. And Archangel Uriel helps heal emotionally sensitive issues, but in order to do that, Archangel Uriel assists us in removing blocks to our personal freedom, or removing personal blocks, things that would not help us see a situation clearly. So I'm seeing that. So if you work with angelic energy and that resonates with you, then consider calling on Archangel Uriel this week to help you see things more clearly. Archangel Uriel assists with, enlightenment, illumination, epiphanies, aha moments, things of that nature. So again, if you work with angelic energy and that resonates with you, consider calling upon Archangel Uriel. But you could also call upon Archangel Uriel, is if the situation that I'm describing for you is of an emotionally sensitive nature, right? Because again, that angel assists with those kinds of matters. But the sun, generally speaking, can represent illumination, clarity, happiness. But again, for other people, it could also represent a child or a childhood issue or siblings in particular. So I read with direction in mind, and I notice that the child and the horse are moving towards this card. So this may be about a progression towards this. So let's see what's going on here. And here we have the 2 of diamonds. Okay, so the first thing I notice is that we have the number 2 repeating here. So 2 is a number of balance. So again, if we go with the idea that the center card is about healing and reconciliation, this could be about restoring a sense of balance. And here with the 2 of diamonds, the 2 of diamonds is about energy. So this could just be, a balance of energy, a restoration of energy, the energy that we are putting into a relationship, right? Because we have the number 2 repeating. Remember, 2 is about bonds, it's about connections, it's about relationships, it's about partnerships, things like that. So, and we have 2 red suits. So here we have, I talked about this idea with the sun card about happiness. When I have a diamond followed by a heart, this represents putting energy into something, and with that, it may be quite easily done because the hearts usually represent something that's easy to accomplish. But here we have something on an emotional nature, hearts, that is rewarding. Here we have a situation about emotional rewards. So this could be a week where we're maybe putting some energy and attention into maybe not necessarily material rewards. The diamond is a suit of material concerns and material resources, but because it's a low number, it may be more a matter of the emotional rewards in life, not necessarily the physical or the tangible. Now, I will say this. One of the things that could potentially need healing, because I'm focusing on the idea that this card can talk about reconciliation. In the literal sense, I talked about material resources with the 2 of diamonds. Here we have the idea of money changing hands because this card can represent a payment. And usually for me, it can represent financial aid or financial support or financial assistance. So a possible scenario that we have here is that maybe there's an issue regarding money changing hands or money being exchanged between 2 parties. One of those parties may be a child or a younger person, sun and 2 of hearts. Right? So again, this could be money changing hands between siblings, money changing hands between a parent and a child. Right? But if we're here and this is the center of the focus, then there could be some reconciliation or some healing around that kind of scenario or that kind of situation. And if that's the case, then it comes back to what were the expectations. There's something about the expectations maybe not being met that may have led into this. So now that would be as if this has already happened and we're in a place where we need to heal this relationship, right? But if it hasn't happened, then this week going forward, there may be the possibility for some people where they may be called upon for financial assistance. So somebody may want to borrow money, maybe a loan, and then if that's the case, then what are the expectations? Especially if the relationship maybe is more close to home because of the hearts. Hearts can also represent domestic matters. So this is the suit that represents home and family. So especially if a family is involved, it's very important that we are clear on what the expectations are in terms of the financial agreement being made. Right? And then that would bring the sun card back in about clarity, right? So I'm seeing that for the first 3 cards. So now let's take a look at what's going on the other end of the line. After the 2 of hearts, here we have, okay, so here we have the 7 of clubs. So clubs for me is the suit that can represent work or business. It is not work or business in the literal sense, because if I mirror the cards, and here we have maybe a financial payment that may be tied to one's business, right? If I mirror the cards. But if not, then this is a situation where work or effort is being applied because the Seven of clubs for me can represent hard work. It's a card for me that talks about putting your nose to the grindstone, so it usually implies some kind of work or effort needing to be applied to the situation, right? Now, if we are talking about work or effort, and there may be something about healing a relationship or some sort of reconciliation, then this card would suggest coming after that there's going to be some work needing to be put into that situation. And then the seven is a number of improvement. We're working towards improving that situation, right? So the other thing I will say about the seven of clubs is that this is a card for me that can represent an argument. So if we're not clear on what the terms are for the financial exchange, for the sharing of resources, whatever this is, the two of diamonds, we're not clear on the expectations, then it could lead to an argument going with the order of the cards. Now, another possibility that's coming in is because I always read the clubs as work or business, and that's just my go-to mode for that suit. Then the two of diamonds can be about payments, like I already said. Then this could be about payments for one's spiritual work or spiritually based business. The seven is the number of spirituality. And if that's the case, then somebody may be focusing on doing healing work. And healing work in particular with partnerships, relationships, because this is the love and romance card. So I'm seeing this maybe with couples, but they're doing it from a maybe a more spiritual place or foundation. Right, so this could literally be, energy healing. Diamonds is about energy, hearts is about healing, and then this would be about work. So somebody may be doing energy healing work, but they're focusing on couples or partnered relationships. And then that would make sense. The sun, the symbol of the sun can represent spiritual healing. So either in the literal sense, somebody's doing energy healing work and wanting to move that forward. If that's the case, you may be in the initial stages of your business with two twos in the line, and you may be having to put a lot of work or effort into building your business up. Because again, this is a card that can represent hard work, and it warns of being a workaholic too. So it's about, again, then the twos would here would be about balance, striking a balance, not overdoing it. But it could be, putting a lot of work or effort into the situation, putting your nose to the grindstone, that kind of thing. But it could also be somebody putting in a great deal of work or effort into healing a relationship. And why? Probably because money was a factor, if money changed hands, right? And needing to clear that up. So that's what I'm seeing with the seven of clubs. And so now let's take a look at the final card in the line, rounding the line out. We have, okay, we just increased, right? Very interesting. We went from two red cards to two black cards. But the beautiful thing about the black cards is that they are both clubs and not spades. So clubs just represent a couple of things. When I see clubs back to back, again, it could represent work or effort being put into a situation if it's not literal work or business. It can also represent progress being made. And the beautiful thing about that is we move from a 7 to a 10, right? And it could also be about the overall energy here is about teaching and learning. So I'm always a fan of saying this, and I'm a big believer in this, is that every experience that we have in life is designed in part to teach us something. So what are the lessons gained by the end of the week if this is about teaching and learning, right? The two clubs, right? But the 10 of clubs in and of itself. It can also represent work or business. This, for me, is a small business card, so it would make sense going with what I said for maybe the person who is maybe contemplating doing a spiritually based business or service, and it may involve energy healing, so that would still apply. Then this card would be about a lot of work, again, getting a lot of work either accomplished or done, because the 10 is a number of transition or success or completion. It's the completion of the numbered card. So here we're reaching the end of a completion, and we're seeing some success with that possibly, right? The cards are making me feel like if we take the time and effort the energy and the resources, diamonds, towards whatever we need to reconcile or heal, hearts, we will be successful. It may take some work because remember I said earlier that the hearts can represent something with ease, but now that with the clubs coming after it, it's making me feel like it can happen, but there may be more work than maybe we first realized. But progress is being made. We're moving towards something being completed successfully. Right. So again, the Ten of Clubs can represent a small business. It could represent, completing something successfully. It can also represent a lot of work being put into a situation. So I would say if we manage our expectations in our relationships this week, if something should come up, we should be able to move through it and progress through it successfully. We should get to the other side of the issue and then take a step back and ask yourself, what did that situation teach me? What did I learn about myself and about the other person? So just step back, ask yourself, what did that situation teach me about me? What did it teach me about the other person? And what did it teach me about our relationship? And on that note, I will go ahead and end this week's Oracle Outlook. I'm James Himm Mitchell, and as I close, I'd like to thank you for sharing space here with me for this week's reading, and I look forward to sharing the same space with you again in our next video reading together. So until then, I'm hoping that you have a wonderful day, and I'm hoping that you have a wonderful week, one in which that you see signs of the progress from the work and effort that you put into whatever the situations that you face. Take care.